right. Well, good evening. My name's Pat Showalter, and I'm going to serve as your moderator this evening for this candidates forum we're having, sponsored by the Mountain View Los Altos League of Women Voters. It's also co-sponsored by the Palo Alto League of Women Voters, the American Association of University Women, and the Los Altos Library, and KMTV, who is kind enough to be recording this for us this evening. The forum is going to be, first we'll have the candidates for district attorney. We're very fortunate to have both Dolores Carr and Jeff Rosen here this evening. And then, and that will take place this first hour, and then the second hour will be the two candidates for sheriff that will be here. So it's important to always say that the views expressed at these League of Women Voters forums are the views of the candidates. They're not the views of the League of Women Voters or any of the sponsoring agencies. It's one of the important concepts behind the League of Women Voters is to be neutral. So we provide this as a, these candidates forums as a service so that everyone can learn about the candidates' views really directly from the horse's mouth. So that's what we're going to do tonight. We have a few ground rules. One is that there'll be a 2-minute opening statement by each of the candidates, and then there will be a series of questions, and we're going to be collecting questions all during the program. So you should have received some index cards. If people need more index cards, raise your hand and they'll be delivered to you. And then also raise your hand when you have it written on, and they'll be collected, and they're going to be sorted by our volunteers, Crowley, Billick, and Coweta Chambers. So first off, I'd like to welcome Jeff Rosen and Dolores Carr. And we had they picked out of a hat who would go first, and Dolores Carr won. So Dolores, will you give us your 2-minute statement, please?
And the timekeeper is...
Oh, who is the timekeeper? Okay.
And is there do you just, when it's time is... Oh, you've got them. Okay, that's just what I wanted. Yeah. That's what I was looking for. Can you hear me? Oh, yes. Is that right there? So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for coming tonight. I'm running for re-election to be your district attorney, and I'm very proud of the great things we've done in the DA's office over my first term. I want to continue the good work we've done, and I'm very proud to lead hundreds of the great employees that I have at the DA's office working for you. As your district attorney, let me describe my job. It's taking criminals off the street to make our community safe. My job duties include managing an $85 million budget, leading almost 500 employees, and being responsible for over 45,000 cases every year, and I also have responsibility for the crime lab. When I ran for DA, I said I would take a fresh look at the office. One of the first things I did was ask for an outside audit. That was very helpful because one of the first things I needed to do was to cut $5 million from my budget. $3.5 million was left by my predecessor. So the audit helped us focus on where we could become more efficient and effective. I also invested in organizational development, which was helpful in guiding our leadership in a vision and setting standards and values. Crime prevention is also important, in addition to our top priorities, which have been fighting gangs and white-collar crime. In the crime prevention area, I've funded, with asset forfeiture funds, safe summer programs for kids, and I brought the nationally acclaimed Parent Project to Santa Clara County, which is a parenting program to help parents get the skills they need to deal with their youth that are just getting into trouble. Where are we going, or where are we now? We're a more efficient and effective organization, more accountability. We've been successful in bringing the gang homicide rate down, which spiked in 2007. So you'll hear a lot from my opponent tonight about things he thinks I've done wrong. Things it's very easy, I would say, to play Monday morning quarterback, but what is tough is actually doing the job, making the tough decisions, making the choices that we need to make sure that our community is safe. But what you won't hear is the leadership roles he's had in the office, because he hasn't had any. He's never been a supervisor or even applied to be the supervisor. So I think it's very important when you look at this race, who is the most qualified to be the district attorney, to manage an $85 million budget with the reductions that are coming down the pike, even more than we've had already, with the prison releases that we're facing right now, and with medical marijuana dispensaries opening up. And I'll be happy to answer questions this evening. Thank you.
Good evening. I want to thank the League of Women Voters for hosting this forum. My name is Jeff Rosen. I'm running for district attorney because I'm passionate about pursuing justice in a just way, in a way that's fair to everyone, that treats everyone equally and with respect. I have broad support in my run for district attorney, from the Santa Clara County Bar Association to the former District Attorney George Kennedy, to many police officer associations, elected officials. More prosecutors within the district attorney's office are publicly endorsing me for district attorney than Ms. Carr. More public defenders are publicly endorsing me than Ms. Carr. Why? Because I'm experienced, tough, and fair. I've been a prosecutor for 15 years, an attorney for 18 years. Before coming to the district attorney's office, I worked in large law firms in Los Angeles and Washington, D.C., doing commercial and business litigation. I came to the DA's office in 1995. I'm tough. I've handled some of the most high-profile and difficult cases in the district attorney's office: rape, child molestation, murder. In fact, there are many cases that I've handled that you probably read about. The murder for hire in Los Gatos of a prominent restaurant owner, the triple murder in Santa Clara committed by an engineer that was fired. I'm tough, but I'm also fair. I'm very proud of the many convictions that I've gotten as a prosecutor to make the community safer. But I'm also proud of the cases that I've dismissed or reduced, because that was also justice. So my vision for justice as a district attorney is to bring back our cold case unit and our Innocence Project, to have open discovery for defense attorneys, to have supervisors carry a caseload, to have a different approach on officer-involved shootings, and finally, a fair elections pledge, which I've sent to Ms. Carr, and I mentioned to her at a debate about not beginning fundraising until a year before the election, to give us time to do the people's business. Thank you.
Thanks very much for both of your opening statements.